Microphone check 1 2 1 2. What is this? Episode 2 of Kevin's Pro Wrestling Show. Back with another episode, of course. I want to thank you guys for clicking on this and listening to this. I want you guys to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down what you think. Again, I want you guys also to down in the description below to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm usually on there as much as I can, trying to promote this podcast, trying to figure out ways to promote this podcast. So, before we talk about the results of what happened this week, I want to start with something that I wrote out for you guys that has to do with WWE and AEW. Let's start with the good old WWE and really repeat that word old because for some reason Vince McMahon still believes in old. I mean, why not if it creates a short buzz for the company, right? But for some reason, they never learn. And Thursday at Super Showdown, they proved it yet again. They decided that a 53-year-old Bill Goldberg as the Universal Champion is a better idea than staying with the 32-year-old The Fiend Bray Wyatt, who was really over with that crowd. If you guys really go back and listen to when he first debuted as The Fiend, he was just extremely over. I've heard a bunch of people talk about it that he didn't really have the best matches because this Fiend monster just really wasn't the best wrestler or whatever the case is. But I mean, it's a monster, dude. He's supposed to be portraying a monster. So it's not really about putting on these great matches. It's about being that character as a monster and really taking control of people and just dominating them. Undertaker did that a lot. Kane, Big Show, like all these monsters, these giant guys. I mean, Bray Wyatt isn't that tall, but him being as the Fiend, that's what it's really portraying is him being a monster. And honestly, I've heard a lot of wrestlers everywhere, like interviews when it comes to, oh, how do you want to make the only way to make it into this business and the way that it is you have to get over. And that's something that Bray Wyatt did every time. He's always gotten over ever since, he debuted as Bray Wyatt, right? With the Wyatt family. He did everything he could to get over. Then when he came back as Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt, and The Fiend, he did everything that he could with his creative mind to get that character over. And once again, Vince shows that it doesn't matter if you get over because it's still his company. And yes, I get it. It's his company. But come on, man. Think about the future for once, Vince. They said, oh, it's because no one is way over with the fans. And like I said, that's a lie. He got over. And the way that Vince is doing it, it's going to ruin it. I'm saying all of this because I care about the WWE. We, the fans, care and want the company to keep getting better and better. This isn't the solution. I get it. It's supposed to lead into Roman Reigns winning at WrestleMania, right? It's supposed to lead into Roman after his battle with leukemia, his battle with cancer, that he was able to come back. He never lost the belt. He relinquished the belt, went and did his battle, won the battle, which is amazing. And now he has his chance to beat Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania. But then the WWE has to worry about certain fans and how they will react. Think about this. Seth Rollins was way over when he beat Brock. And then what happened? Bad booking, bad creative, and bad promos. Bad promos. My bad there. It led into the fans not liking him anymore because it felt like he was forcing these words and it wasn't really him. And that's how some fans are. They want a guy or a girl to get pushed, and once they achieve it, they get over them right away. It's time to build for the future and not to keep relying on legends. And it's true, I don't understand why some of the fans are like that. They want so and so to get over, and once they do and they win the title, they just get over that person themselves. And that does not make any sense. So now let's talk about AEW and them building for the future. At AEW Revolution, it showed it once again with John Moxley becoming the AEW champion. Now, some people I saw on social media, they're like, oh, but if you notice, their first two champions are ex WWE guys, which means without the WWE, those guys wouldn't be over. No, John Moxley reinvented himself, and so did Chris Jericho. They both reinvented themselves. And yes, what better two people than to have guys that have been at the top at another company come in here and be at the top? Moxley is what, 34, 36, somewhere in between. So he still has a long way to go. And right now is the perfect time for him putting AEW on his back and carrying them. Another thing is AEW is building for the future. Just listen to the crowd when Darby Allin comes out. When Orange Cassidy comes out, they get tremendous pops. Yes, Cody is always going to get tremendous pops as a babyface, but these guys are building for the future. And just don't understand why there's wrestling fans who are either WWE or AEW, and they're like, and they just want to fight with each other. It's like, dude, one company for some reason is relying on legends still. Those legends ain't gonna be around forever. What are you gonna do? Bring in Bill Goldberg in 20 years when he's 73 and have him win the championship then to put someone else over? Like, come on, dude. Build for the future and build for the future now. Don't wait before it's too late, honestly. WWE, you guys gotta wake up. And that time to wake up is right now. I get it. You already put in Bill Goldberg, but after this WrestleMania, don't do that anymore. Just go forward, build new stars. You have a lot of people that are on the rise. You have Keith Lee, Adam Cole. You have so many of these younger talent that should be on Raw or SmackDown. Nothing against NXT, but these guys need to be pushed to the moon, not bringing back legends in order to get them, not bringing back legends to get certain wrestlers over. Roman's already over. If you're bringing Bill Goldberg, you better bring him in to put someone over who isn't as over with the crowd. So WWE, it's time to step up now because AEW is already a mile ahead, and you don't want to let them get more ahead, honestly. All right, so let's get into all the results that happened this week, starting off with Monday Night Raw. And to start off the show, we had Randy Orton come out. And during Randy, he was coming out doing the same old thing that Randy does. Kevin Owens came out basically saying, you know what, Randy, you basically ruined it all for me because I wanted to have a match with Edge since he came back because I was a big fan of Edge, especially because I was sad when he retired and basically just blaming Randy Orton and wanting to know why. So this ended up resulting in the main event between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. After that, we had the first match when Angel Garza defeated Humberto Carrillo. Now, these both have been getting over. Like I said, Angel Garza reminds me so much of Eddie Guerrero, and Carrillo has been getting over, even though he has been taking losses to Angel Garza and took losses to Andrade. He's still getting over, and for me as a fellow Mexican, I love seeing that my fellow Mexican wrestlers are on Raw and are getting over and are getting TV time. Honestly, that's pretty awesome. After that, we had Ricochet defeat Luke Gallows in another match, just setting up to try to make Ricochet look like he has a chance in beating Brock Lesnar. And we all know, if you don't know, but you guys, I'll talk to you guys about the results about Super Showdown here in a bit. But yeah, after that, we had Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar address the whole Ricochet Super Showdown thing, and they talked a little bit about Drew McIntyre. And the weird thing to me is Ricochet just had a match. Why not have Brock Lesnar and just run out, make an example out of Ricochet, like how he did when Ricochet became number one contender? But for some reason, they didn't cross paths, and for some reason, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar just addressed everything like a regular promo. After that, we had Aleister Black defeated Eric Rowan. Now, before this happened, we had Aleister Black got beat up by the OC, by AJ Styles and the OC. So basically, he went out there limping, and Eric Rowan thought he was going to come out Eric Rowan thought he was going to just beat Aleister Black because Aleister Black looked like he was all beat up, but it didn't go that way, and it's all going to lead up into next week, which honestly, I guess you could say is a dream match between AJ Styles versus Aleister Black. That's going to be a real banger of a match. After that, we had Bobby Lashley just defeated R-Truth. And then we had the contract signing for the women's elimination chamber match to determine again who will be the number one contender at WrestleMania. Shayna Baszler. Sorry about that. But this contract, I don't know why they did a contract signing for the women's elimination chamber match. It didn't make any sense. I mean, I guess maybe because it's a 3 hour show, but honestly, this thing made no sense. And then, they started going at each other. Liv Morgan got in Ruby Riot's face. Then she attacked her, jumped over the table or whatever, and attacked Ruby Riot. And, chaos broke loose. And then Becky Lynch came out and attacked Shayna Baszler. I didn't have to see that. I did not need Becky Lynch come out and attack Shayna Baszler. Like, for what? And honestly, the way that it is, it's so obvious. There's no need for this match. I know the women will put on a hell of a match, but honestly, there's no need for it. Since we all know Shayna Baszler is gonna win, I think they should have done something better for Shayna Baszler to become the number one contender and not have to do this chamber match. But knowing the women and how good these women, all the women included in this match are, it will be a really good match at the pay-per-view. Then after that, we had Angelo Dawkins defeated Murphy via disqualification due to who else but the Messiah himself, Seth Rollins. Then after that, we had Montez Ford come out, and Seth Rollins defeated Montez Ford. I just don't really know what else to say about that. And it resulted in the Street Profits getting a title shot at Super Showdown. Then after that, we had Randy Orton defeated Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins came out and did continue that whole thing that's going on, which I think will lead into a Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania. And then Kevin Owens put the referee through a table because he got screwed over. It was a super fast count by the ref. And then, he kind of ripped off the ref shirt and he had a Seth Rollins Monday Night Messiah shirt under. So, I mean, I don't know if there was a real need for that. Maybe he's a disciple and Seth Rollins like, oh, I don't even know him and this and that. So, yeah, Raw was an okay show. Not the best show, especially for a going home show for Super Showdown. But overall, it was okay. After that, so I'm going to talk right now real quick about Tuesday night and what happened in NWA Power and Impact Wrestling. First, let's start off with NWA. Now, the biggest highlights that I took from that was Nick Aldis confronting Marty Scurll. Marty Scurll came out because Nick Aldis was saying, oh, you can just come out now, saying that you don't want to do the match at the Crockett Cup in April and, avoid the embarrassment. And Marty Scurll came out and they started going at it. The people from Nick Aldis, I think it's Strictly Business, they came out and wanted to beat up on Marty Scurll. And then one of the guys, I didn't get the guy's name, but one of the guys from Villain Enterprises came out and started helping him out. And in the end, it was all just broken apart by some of the NWA security and I think some refs or something like that. So, I mean, it's just building up, which I think it's going to be a banger of a match between Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll. I believe Marty Scurll will beat Nick Aldis and become the NWA champion. And then there is going to be a Nick Aldis versus PCO, and I think we'll see an interesting take on this and possibly see Nick Aldis win the Ring of Honor champion. And I think it'd be pretty crazy. It'll keep the storyline going. And yeah, I can't wait to see if that happens or what exactly will happen because Nick Aldis has been the NWA champion for a long time. And then after that, the main event was Thunder Rosa defeated Melina via countout to retain the NWA Women's Champion. Basically, the match never started. Melina right away walked into the crowd saying that she wasn't going to do the match. And then Allison Kay, the former champion, came out and attacked Melina. But then Camille came out of nowhere and speared Allison Kay and then basically just stared at Thunder Rosa. I don't know if this is gonna lead into a four-way for the women's champion or where that's really gonna go. But those were the two interesting things that I wanted to share that happened at NWA Power this week. And then the two interesting things that happened on Impact Wrestling, we had Joey Ryan basically was talking in the back to RVD and Katie Forbes because RVD left his match, lost via countout, basically saying that if RVD wanted to join forces with Joey Ryan to kind of create some kind of partnership, that because they were getting hated on by the fans for the way that they both are, and yada yada. So I guess we'll see how that goes. And then Tessa Blanchard defeated Ace Austin via disqualification, though. I guess they were, I don't know if they were going for the X Division title. I think so, because I saw something about a possible tease of Tessa two belts. So, and the reason Tessa won by DQ is because Taya interfered in the match, came out and speared Tessa, and basically is going to lead into Tessa versus Taya. I think that's what I saw. Tessa versus Taya next week on Impact for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. And I think it's the first, well, basically it is going to be the first time ever two women will battle out for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. So I guess we'll see what the result of that will be next week. So after all of that, let's get into the Wednesday Night Wars. So first, I'm gonna start off with AEW, and wow, what a what is it, going away or go home show for the pay per view AEW Revolution. And they started off basically with the pay per view caliber match between Kenny Omega and Pac in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Now, Kenny Omega did defeat Pac in the 30-minute Iron Man match 2-1 after the match was basically tied at the end of regulation, and they went into a sudden death, and Kenny Omega picked up the win. But man, these guys did everything and beyond. From what I was listening to from other people, everybody loved the match. Some people thought they did too much. I honestly, from what I saw, I just loved the match. They were just going at it back and forward. Kenny Omega did give up the first. I mean, not Kenny Omega. Pac, whatever the case is, he gave up the first point by disqualification, and then Kenny Omega got it back, and then what's it called? Then Pac got it back with the Black Arrow, and they just kept going at it, man. These guys for 30 minutes they put on a hell of a match that just did not make you want to turn away from what these guys were doing on AEW. Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't have mind if they would have put this on a pay per view, but because they are only doing four pay per views a year, putting these pay per view caliber matches on Dynamite on TNT is awesome. I mean, I think last week when we had the Lucha Bros versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, that was a pay per view. Also, that was a pay per view caliber match. It could have been on a pay per view, but like I said, these guys are trying to build Dynamite, and it's awesome. I wish WWE would cut down to maybe like 6 pay-per-views a year, so like that we can get these caliber matches. So after that, Jurassic Express defeated the Inner Circle's Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, and Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara was going to pick up the win. He was going to cheat his way, but Darby Allin came out, stopped them, and that's how Jurassic Express picked up the win. And it's awesome because it continues the storyline that we have between Sammy and Darby, that these guys are going to go at it at AEW Revolution. And that's pretty awesome and a much needed win for Jurassic Express. I remember at first, Jurassic Express was really losing a lot of matches, honestly. And that kind of sucks, but it looks like they're finally picking up wins. Something I do want to mention real quick, I think it would be awesome for these guys to have a trios belt. I think they have enough trios teams on AEW that I think it would be cool. It would be something different. You know, WWE doesn't do that. Impact doesn't do that. Neither does NWA. Ring of Honor does, and it's pretty awesome. But I think it would be great to see that in AEW. Then after that, we had Best Friends defeated the Butcher and the Blade. It kind of sucks. I mean, it's awesome for Best Friends, a much needed win for them, but it was also a much needed win for the Butcher and the Blade. Honestly, I don't. These guys, I think they've only picked up one win a couple weeks ago. They've been losing a lot. At first, they were kind of in that kind of like assassins or made to be this really tough team that was going to come in and just kick butt, but it hasn't been like that, honestly. It really hasn't, and that kind of sucks. Actually, I don't know if they won a single tag team match. Maybe maybe they did. I know they did beat. I know them and the Lucha Bros together beat the Elite which was the Young Bucks, Omega, and Page. I know that did happen, so I know they did pick up that win a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. I'm not gonna check right now, honestly, during this recording. But I think they might have also picked up just a regular 2-on-2, just a regular tag team victory. I'm pretty sure they have, but honestly, don't really like how they're doing it on the Butcher and the Blade as these heels. I think they could have done them better. Maybe have them go away and repackage them and really push them the way that they need to be pushed. And actually, going back, man, these guys are such a good tag team, but they're not really. At first, they were seen as a menacing team, and now they're really not. And that's Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. I love those guys and what they do in the ring, but these guys have been, Proud and Powerful. They've been losing a lot as well. And at first, I don't know if they did get a title match. I don't remember, but like that's another good team that should be champion. Don't know why they're not. I know their time will come, but I think that's another team that should be repackaged because they did have a lot of success on in Impact, and I know they're destined for success here in AEW. But I mean, I guess Tony Khan and the rest of the EVPs, they're booking it the way that they want to, and I know these guys will be champions eventually. So I guess we'll see where that goes. Then after that, we had Hikaru Shida defeated Big Swole, Shauna, and Yuka Sakazaki in a fatal four-way match. They didn't say that this will become this that the winner will become the new number one contender for the AEW Women's Champion after Revolution, but I think it will be because I think I remember when Sheeta came out. I think next to her it said that she was number three or number two in the power rankings. So most likely we will see a Sheeta get her title shot. But honestly, it was a great match. It was a fun match. They all got their stuff in. They all showed what they could do. And the women out there just looked like they were having fun. My only thing is I wish there was more story built to this. Maybe they should have announced, hey, the winner of this will get a future number one contender shot. So maybe it would have been, putting that on this match would have built it up a little bit better, made it more interesting. But honestly, I think it was a fun match. And it was awesome that to see all of them get their stuff in, all of them did their moves and showed what they can do. Now after this, we had the weigh-in between John Moxley and Chris Jericho setting up for AEW Revolution. And honestly, I think it was awesome. It wasn't a contract signing. We've seen a contract signing, and I think it's awesome they did a weigh-in. They gave it that professional fight feeling, and it was fun. It was fun. It led into chaos between they were trying to beat up on Moxley, and then Dustin Rhodes and Jake Hager. You saw them kind of get out of the ring, and I think they went up into the concession stands up in the arena, and they were just going at it. Which all that kind of shows these guys going at it because they do have a match at AEW Revolution, and then we had Darby Allin come out. Sammy Guevara was beating up on Darby Allin, and then John Moxley was gonna, him and Chris Jericho were trading blows, and then I think it was Santana came out and hit Moxley with the low blow, and then Chris Jericho hit him with the Judas effect, and then got a double arm DDT and hit that double arm DDT over the weight scale, and honestly, that was pretty intense. That the way that it ended, and it was pretty fun. Something different than a normal contract signing. But I forgot to mention, Moxley did headbutt Chris Jericho, and after there was a picture, and I think he said he got like 7, 9 stitches or something like that. Whether I don't know if Chris Jericho had a blade and cut himself, or maybe he did actually bust them open. But honestly, it was an awesome visual. I mean, I think it makes Jericho look strong going into AEW Revolution because lately they've been going back and forward on who's looking strong, not want to give away what the finish is going to be at Revolution, though it's pretty obvious. But though it was pretty obvious, because I want you guys to keep listening, but so you guys can hear my opinion on everything at the AEW Revolution. And honestly, like I said, it was awesome, a different way to do it. It was fun. Also, during this show, they set up a Pac versus Orange Cassidy, which I think it's gonna be. an awesome match because these guys kind of have had an altercation, and it's awesome that it's going to set up to the AEW Revolution match, and it's going to be awesome to see Orange Cassidy finally do some wrestling stuff. I haven't seen anything prior to this. I wanted to wait and see his performance at Revolution. I know there's a bunch of videos. People are like, "Oh, watch this video of him, watch that video." And honestly, Orange Cassidy is completely over. I think, the most over baby faces are Cody, Darby Allen, and Orange Cassidy are the most complete over baby faces. I think Adam Page is kind of there, but they are kind of lingering as a baby face tweener. Tweet. Yeah, I think it's like tweener. That's what it's called. Kind of like Moxley. Moxley is completely over too as the baby face tweener as well. So that's pretty awesome that we got to see that we are going to get to see that at AEW Revolution. So basically, that's how AEW ended. I think it was an awesome show. It's setting up for what is going to be an amazing AEW Revolution pay per view. It could possibly be one of the best that they've done so far. Don't want to give anything away yet, though. If you know the results, you already know the results. But the whole point, like I said, the whole point of this podcast is for you guys to hear my opinion, and I kind of want to do something a little bit, kind of give my own opinion, my own perspective on maybe some things I would have done different. One thing that I probably would have done different, maybe had Pac win because we did have the Young Bucks come out to be with Omega. Maybe have Pac win. I think Pac is someone they can build up to have a great feud for that AEW championship. But I mean, I guess we'll see what they're gonna keep. We'll see what they're gonna do next Wednesday going forward. Now let's get into NXT, and we had Cameron Grimes and Dominic Dijakovic had the first match, and Cameron Grimes defeated Dominic Dijakovic. I think I just recently saw somewhere earlier today that said that Dominic Dijakovic is on a week to week basis. I think it was like a knee sprain, something like that. So, hopefully he can get better. I think best thing to do is give him like two weeks off and let him heal up because I'm pretty sure he will want to be at NXT Takeover Tampa because it is the night before WrestleMania. So after that, we had Finn Balor come out and did a promo, and he basically talked about how he has built brands and he's won titles, that he won the Intercontinental Championship, that he's been the Universal Champion, that he's been the NXT Champion, and everybody wants to know what he's going to do next. Then we had Imperium's Fabian Atchener and Marcel Barthel basically came out and told him, but you have not been the NXT UK champion. So they basically came out and started going at him and started beating him up, which I think it is going to lead into a Finn Balor versus Walter. I don't know if they're going to do this at NXT TakeOver Tampa, but I think I would like to see this at WrestleMania. It would be a great NXT match to put on WrestleMania, though WrestleMania, by the sounds of it, is going to be like 14 matches. So that's pretty crazy in it itself. Then after that, we had Chia Lee defeated Mia Yim, and then they were both attacked by Raquel Gonzalez. Then we had Tommaso Ciampa defeated Austin Theory. And then Johnny Gargano came out and attacked Ciampa to continue that storyline. I think these guys aren't going to have a match until NXT TakeOver Tampa. Then after that, we had Killian Dane defeated Bronson Reed. We had the Grizzled Young Veterans defeated the Forgotten Sons. And we had the main event, Charlotte Flair defeated Bianca Belair. Now, these girls had an amazing match. They really did. But I think maybe they kind of should have put a stipulation on it, maybe saying if Bianca Belair won, she would get a chance to make it a triple threat at WrestleMania. Though, then again, I feel that is kind of force feeding Bianca Belair, and they don't need to do that. I think they should just wait until after Mania to put her in that title picture. I mean, she already was, and she lost clean. So I think that's something that they should wait on. Now, the biggest thing that I had a problem with is after Charlotte Flair kept beating up on Bianca Belair, and then Rhea Ripley's music came out. Rhea Ripley's music hit, and she came out, and she did her full entrance. Like, she was supposed to come out basically, right, standing up for NXT to help out Bianca Belair. And by the time she got in the ring, honestly, Charlotte Flair could have been already on her flight back to her home, wherever wherever it is that she lives. She came out, she did her whole stomp thing. Like, I don't know if that's the direction they were going with, or maybe because Rhea Ripley is still green, or whatever the thing it was, is just okay, you're coming out to save someone. Maybe she's not your friend, but it's NXT, right? You're basically saying, oh, Charlotte Flair doesn't belong here. And you're basically saying, it's me, Rhea Ripley, representing NXT versus you, Charlotte, because you forgot where you came from. You don't come out to help Bianca Belair and take your sweet time to get there. Think about it. That's like if, what's it called? I don't know, whoever, just on the top of my head, if Kane was getting beat up and the Undertaker's music hits, and oh, here comes the Undertaker to save his brother Kane, but yet the Undertaker still does his full entrance to get to the ring. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, that's something that either she has to fix or they have to do differently. But I think that was the biggest frustration out of the whole NXT, because it was a really good show, because it's just Rhea Ripley, you're coming out to save Bianca Belair. But why are you doing your stomp? Why are you doing your full entrance? And she basically, once she gets in the ring, Charlotte Flair just rolls out and she holds up her title. Like, no, that just didn't sit well with me. And now let's get into WWE's Super Showdown event. Wow. I just don't know where to start with this. I'm just going to read off the results, and then I'm going to go into a rant, because I think it's a rant that you guys need to hear. Okay? So, we started off Super Showdown with the OC defeating the Viking Raiders. Why? This was on the pre-show, but why? There was no build to this. Maybe I get it. It was a rematch from the last time they were in Saudi Arabia when the OC defeated the Viking Raiders to become the best tag team in the world. Maybe it was to show Saudi Arabia that, hey, these guys are still the best tag team in the world. Though the last 2 weeks on Raw, they've been having singles matches, losing to Ricochet. Doesn't make any sense. Then after that, we had the gauntlet match, the Twake, the Twake Trophy. I think that's what it's called. Anyways, we had the match. R-Truth came out and started against Bobby Lashley. He beat Lashley, and then he beat Andrade. So, okay, this is where I'm going to get into it. In the end, we had AJ Styles. He pinned R-Truth, or he made R-Truth tap, because R-Truth was already knocked out due to him and Andrade hitting heads. So basically, he made R-Truth tap, right? Which meant it was going to be AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio to determine who was going to win the trophy. And then it shows the OC beat up Rey Mysterio. Okay, basically AJ Styles like, well, that's pretty much it. I basically won the match. I get it. He's a heel. What a heel way to win. But the ref said, no, the way that it is, I'm going to count out. I'm going to do the count to 10. If nobody else comes out, then it's over. Fine, you win. You'll get the trophy. And then it cut back, and it showed the OC got attacked by someone. And then it just shows black boots and a cape. Who was it? Darth Vader? I don't think so. It was none other than the return of the Phenom, The Undertaker. His music hit. Undertaker did his full entrance, right? And he came out, and just because AJ Styles put his finger on The Undertaker, got a choke slam. 1, 2, 3. My biggest problem with this, why did you have to do that, WWE? Why? You could see the way that I would have done it. I could have just easily have AJ Styles beat Rey Mysterio, and then you have The Undertaker come out and confront him and cut a promo on the mic saying, hey, you're saying you're Mr. WrestleMania. Yes, I have 2 losses, but I still have the best record at WrestleMania. If you say you're Mr. WrestleMania, then why don't you prove it to me at WrestleMania 36? And that's it. We don't have to see The Undertaker anymore. That can just set up for WrestleMania 36. You have The Undertaker come out, chokeslam AJ Styles, does the 1, 2, 3. Why not instead chokeslam him? Why not instead you hit him with the tombstone, right? What you're most famous for. You're not really known for the chokeslam. You're known for the tombstone. And I love The Undertaker, my favorite wrestler, like I've told you guys. But why do it that way? You could have still had Styles win. Oh, whatever. Styles won. And then you do that, which leads into WrestleMania. Not have The Undertaker win the gauntlet match when he wasn't even in it. And then he walks back, he walks backstage, doesn't even take the trophy. Come on, at least take the trophy, Taker. Though I get it, you're like, I don't even care about this trophy. Probably gave it to some fan or something. But that's what I would have done differently during this segment, during this match. Then after that, we had The Miz and John Morrison defeated the New Day to become new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Now, I think I did predict something that I wanted the New Day to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if The Miz and Morrison won. Miz and Morrison needed a win. They were kind of feeling a little bit dry on SmackDown, so I think putting the belts on them and having this whole, having a heel tag team, and then you're going to have this scramble between the New Day, hopefully Heavy Machinery and the Usos, and maybe you put Rude and Dolph Ziggler back, all of those teams scrambling to try to get, a match against Miz and Morrison. I don't know how long these guys are going to last as the tag team champions, but that was pretty cool to see. Though Kofi did take a nasty fall, but what I want to see is Big E get a singles push. He was an NXT champion, and honestly, I think it's time for him to get a singles push. And no, that doesn't mean him beat Braun Strowman to become Intercontinental Champion. No, I want to see him after WrestleMania step into the light of going after the Universal Champion, whoever that may be. Then we had Angel Garza defeated Humberto Carrillo. Again, another great match. Both of these guys got over. I was surprised they let Angel Garza rip his sweats. What a guy, right? And especially in Saudi Arabia to allow that, that's pretty crazy, I think. I didn't think they would allow that, but they did. And like I said, even though Carrillo's losing, he is getting over because they are putting on really good matches. Then we had Seth Rollins and Murphy defeat the Street Profits. Now this is where I had the problem. I wish WWE would have had the Street Profits win because I want to see Seth Rollins and Owens continue their feud, but not while Seth Rollins is a tag team champion. And I wanted to see Murray and Samoa Joe. We might still get to see that, but Samoa Joe did get suspended for 30 days for violating WWE's wellness policy. So who knows who knows what's going to happen. My guess is, unfortunately, I think we're just going to see Rollins and Murphy lose the belts at WrestleMania to a possible Joe and Owens, but I don't know. We'll see. And then after that, we had Saudi Arabia's own hero, Mansoor, defeat Dolph Ziggler. And I don't know if you guys saw that funny picture, but it's basically the Undertaker's pose with Mansoor's face on there saying that he's 4-0. And yes, he is undefeated at these pay-per-view or super house shows, whatever they're called. I personally would love to see Mansoor get a push, maybe even put him just in the picture for the Cruiserweight Championship on NXT. I think that's where he's at. But he got an amazing pop, and it was awesome to see Mansoor defeat Dolph Ziggler. A lot of people are like, oh no, Dolph's going to beat him. No, he's not. Saudi Arabia loves Mansoor. They put on a really good match. So it was just destined to see Mansoor pick up another win. Now let's get into Brock Lesnar defeating Ricochet. Now, I heard what everybody had to say about this. And there's only some people that I agree with. Look, Brock Lesnar beat Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series, right? Yes, it was a street fight or no DQ match. So Rey Mysterio was able to get his stuff in, get some stuff in Lesnar. But why? This match was like 2 minutes. There was a promo before. There was like a video package before. The video package and Brock Lesnar's entrance and Ricochet's entrance was longer than the match. The match was like a minute and a half to like 2.5 minutes. Brock Lesnar just destroyed Ricochet. I get it. It's a way to make Brock Lesnar look like the beast that he is, setting up for WrestleMania 36. But build for the future. And that is Ricochet, right? Ricochet is younger than Brock Lesnar. Why not let these guys put on a 10-minute banger of a match where Ricochet still goes over and Brock Lesnar still picks up the win? You know, kind of give it, oh, Ricochet has a chance on winning. Where no, you just have Brock Lesnar come out and dominate him and boom, that's it, goes home. I was surprised though that since that was the result, that didn't go on first, right? In October, we had that horrible thing between Brock Lesnar dominating Cain Velasquez in the beginning of the match, and then Brock Lesnar jumped on his jet and went home. I mean, if that was the case, you should have just put that in the beginning instead of the gauntlet match. Like I said, I wish Ricochet would have had a better showing. I mean, you have him beat Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, in a singles match each to kind of show, oh, maybe he has a chance against Brock Lesnar. But then you do that to him. Doesn't really make sense. But whatever. Again, I'm not part of the creative, or I'm not Vince McMahon or whatever, you know. But I would have put on a 10-minute match, let Ricochet get some offense in. Because he got no offense. Brock Lesnar just tossed him around like a rag doll. At least Cain Velasquez got a little bit of offense. Come on, guys. After that, we had the steel cage match between Roman Reigns and King Corbin, and we saw Roman Reigns defeat King Corbin. I hope this is the end of the feud, though the rumor is King Corbin and Roman Reigns will be in that Elimination Chamber. I mean, it's cool, whatever. They go at it in the chamber, but I don't want to see these guys fight anymore. These guys have been going at it since the last Saudi Arabia show, right? That's when these guys started their rivalry back in October, because Roman was Team Hogan and Randy was Team Flair. But that's what basically started this feud. I love that Roman Reigns beat King Corbin, and please just end it there. If we're gonna build up Roman Reigns to win the Universal Championship, which now I hope he really does, get him away from King Corbin and try to figure out a way to make King Corbin a little bit more interesting, because he is annoying. I get it. He's a heel. But sometimes I just don't want to see Corbin. And I don't want to see Corbin versus Reigns anymore. I just honestly don't. After that, we had Bayley defeated Naomi. Now, Bayley won in a heel way. They were wearing those long shirts like they always do. And I think she kind of tied up Naomi's feet, and then like under the shirt that they were wearing, and then she like hit Naomi's head on the mat really hard and picked up the victory, the 1, 2, 3. I wanted Naomi to win, because I think it would be a more interesting match to see Naomi versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. But I don't know, maybe we will see Bayley versus Sasha Banks. A lot of these rumors are coming true for WrestleMania, and that was one of the rumors. So I'm guessing we're either going to see Bayley versus Sasha or Bayley versus Lacey Evans again. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Now let's get into the main event of Super Showdown, when we had Goldberg defeat Bray Wyatt. And like I said in the introduction on that little rant that I gave, I laughed actually when this happened. I didn't believe that this actually happened. I tried not to get mad as a fan, but it was ridiculous to see this happen. Bray Wyatt, a guy who was built as a monster, loses to four spears and half a jackhammer. Honestly, it wasn't even a jackhammer, and it got him the victory, and that was ridiculous. I mean, I hope the way that they can save this is turn Goldberg heel, turn him heel, get him booed. If it's going to be him against Roman Reigns, find ways to get Goldberg to get him booed. Whether it's him destroying faces on SmackDown like the New Day, even the Usos, destroy Daniel Bryan, whoever the case is have them destroy, have them just spear these guys and just one, two, threes or whatever the case is. But honestly, that's the only way WWE can make this really work for Roman, and that's finding ways to get Bill Goldberg booed. And if it doesn't work, honestly, it's going to be crazy at WrestleMania to find out what is really going to go down once Roman wins. I honestly believe Roman will win. And when he does, I don't know how that crowd's going to react down in Tampa Bay, Florida. So that's going to be pretty crazy. So now let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown. It all started with Goldberg coming out, talking about who's next. And like I said, Roman Reigns answered that call and told Bill Goldberg, I'm next. After that, we had Naomi defeated Bayley by disqualification, which led into Naomi and Lacey Evans defeated Bayley and Sasha Banks. Look, there's no reason that, the whole point is to have a tag team match. I get it. Sometimes it's a little bit of drama, but SmackDown was just a whatever show, honestly. Because at first, like I said, Naomi defeated Bayley via disqualification, and then it turned into Naomi and Lacey Evans defeated Bayley and Sasha. Like, the whole point was to get a tag team going. That's how it should have been in the first place. And instead of doing a singles and then going into a tag team. But for some reason, SmackDown does that a lot, and it's pretty annoying. We'll. And now the question is it going to be Naomi or Lacey Evans to go against Bayley at Mania, or maybe we'll have a fatal four way between all these four women. We'll see. After that, we had Robert Roode. We had Robert Roode defeat Kofi Kingston. Don't know why that happened. It's pretty. I mean, it is what it is. Poor Kofi on that. And then we had an Intercontinental Championship match contract signing. So apparently, at Elimination Chamber, we're gonna have Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Cesaro and Sami Zayn, a 3-on-1 handicap match with the belt on the line. I don't know if I guess maybe whoever gets the pinfall becomes the Intercontinental. If that's the case, I hope Sami Zayn gets a pinfall and becomes the champ, and we can start seeing Sami Zayn wrestle because he is a great wrestler. After that, we had Daniel Bryan defeat Curtis Axel. Then we had the Usos defeat Miz and Morrison, which doesn't make sense since Miz and Morrison just won. But apparently, it's going to lead into a match at Elimination Chamber. I think, if I remember correctly, it's gonna have Miz and Morrison, the Usos, the New Day, Heavy Machinery, and I think the Lucha House Party, the two who aren't injured, because I know one of them is injured. So all five of those teams will be in the Elimination Chamber for the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And then in the end, we have the return of John Cena. Now, John Cena came out, gave his promo saying that he wants to not be at WrestleMania and give it to the ones who are going to have the chance to earn it. And then, like the rumor suggested, we had the Fiend Bray Wyatt come out at the end. And I guess it was kind of funny. Basically, he came out and just pointed at the WrestleMania sign. John Cena tipped his hat to him and then gave him the "You Can't See Me" sign. So that confirms that match for WrestleMania. And honestly, right now, WrestleMania is looking like a stacked card. We have Bray Wyatt versus John Cena, Roman Reigns versus Goldberg, Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, And I think that's it. I think I mean, we are gonna have Orton and Edge. We'll have Styles and Undertaker, and then I'm pretty sure we're also gonna get Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Champion. So honestly, it's already looking like a good stack WrestleMania. Whether people want to admit it or not, it's going to be a hell of a show. So now let's get into AEW Revolution. And what can I say about this show? It was a 4.5 out of 5 for me. It was an amazing show. You couldn't ask for a better show. Though when I go through the show right now, there is a match maybe I would have placed a little bit different. So in the pre-show, we had Dark Order defeated SCU, and then we had so the Dark Order was beating down on SCU, and then we had Christopher Daniels come out and help them out, and then we had Colt Cabana, and at the end of the show, Tony Khan, um, in the press conference that they do at the end of every pay-per-view, did admit that basically Colt Cabana has officially signed with AEW. He's done working with NWA and everywhere else, and he's going to be with AEW, and that's pretty awesome for him. So, and then we had the first match. The first official match of the show was Jake Hager defeated Dustin Rhodes via submission. Now, it was a good match from what I saw. I think I wish it would have been a little bit more aggressive because of the hatred between these two guys, between Jake Hager breaking Dustin Rhodes' arm. But it was an okay match. The second match right now that I'm going to talk about is Darby Allin defeated Sammy Guevara. Now, I think maybe they should have had this match to start the show because these guys were just going at 100 miles per hour, giving each other everything they had. Before the match even started, Sammy Guevara put Darby Allin through a table, gave him a 630 flip off of the top turnbuckle to the outside, and then he threw him in, and that's when the match officially started. So I would have started with that match and then had the Jake Hager match. Because then after that, we had possibly already a candidate for match of the year between Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page defeated the Young Bucks. And wow, this was an amazing tag team match. You cannot get better than what this match gave us. If you didn't watch it, you need to watch it. Everything. These guys were just going at 120 miles per hour. So many good false finishes. And in the end, we had Kenny Omega and Adam Page just pick up that victory, which it could have gone either way, honestly. A lot of people said, it wasn't the Young Bucks were going to win, which would lead into the Adam Page heel turn. But I'm kind of going more towards maybe Kenny Omega will betray Adam Page and go back to the Young Bucks because Adam Page is so over. The crowd loves him. His whole cowboy gimmick, his whole beer drinking gimmick is just way over with the crowd. That I think even if he was to turn on Kenny, he would have every reason to. I know people love Kenny Omega as well, but think about it. If he was to turn on Kenny, his whole thing can be like, well, I turned on him and it doesn't matter because he was the one that wasn't trusting me. He wasn't having faith in me as his partner. So it can go either way. So that's going to be an interesting, and and it made sense, honestly, to keep the belt on them because they just barely won the championships at the end of, I think it was like towards the end of January. So it doesn't make sense on them losing the belt. And then we had Nyla Rose defeated Chris Statlander, and that was a really good match. One thing I did notice, though, the crowd wasn't really into it. And because, they were following two really good matches. So if I could have gone back, I think I would have had Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara go first, Jake Hager and Dustin go second. Third, I would have put the Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander match. And then we would have had the Kenny Omega Page versus the Young Bucks match. And then we had MJF defeated Cody. Now, some people might be pissed off on that, but no, because think about it. It made sense because this story can keep going as a babyface story for Cody. Is he lost to the heel? He cheated though because MJF used his ring and boom gave him a punch and knocked him out and got the victory. But and that's what Cody can use is you cheated your way to beat me. You can't beat me without cheating. And we all know he really can't because MJF is an amazing heel. But that's the thing, though. It's going to keep the story going. It could have ended there with Cody winning and the crowd would have gone crazy. But the thing is, you want to keep building MJF as this top heel. And it's going to be interesting on the road to now Double or Nothing. It's going to be interesting where this story is going to go. If it's going to keep going there, or maybe each one will get into a different story and eventually come back and meet. Because I feel like MJF and Cody really are going to be trying to do their best to top each other every time. After that, we had Pac defeat Orange Cassidy, and man, what a match that was! It was a really fun match. A lot of the Orange Cassidy stuff that usually happens, but then he actually showed what he can do. He was moving at a fast pace. He was doing, top A suicidas or top suicides, whatever the case. My bad. However you say that, but you know, Orange Cassidy was giving him eventually everything that he got, and of course we had Pac win. He made him tap out, which was pretty, it was cool. I mean, no matter what, Orange Cassidy looked strong. And from what I'm seeing is a lot of people were saying, oh, now I'm a huge Orange Cassidy fan. It sucks that it had to come down to this. I've been a big Orange Cassidy fan since I became a fan of AEW since before they started on TNT. But, it was an amazing match, and it was awesome that Pac and Orange Cassidy could really do this. And I kind of scratched my head that this was the co-main event, but I mean, it was still a great match. After that, we had John Moxley defeat Chris Jericho to become the new AEW World Champion. And man, what a match that was. They gave us everything that we could have asked for in a championship match compared to Super Showdown. So honestly, these guys, Chris Jericho got over, and it was awesome seeing Chris Jericho be the first champion. But I'm really glad that they pulled the trigger on John Moxley, and basically they struck the iron while it was hot, which is something that WWE lacks on. But AEW, they need to keep it this way, striking the iron while it's hot, and just giving the fans what they wanted, and that's what they wanted is they wanted to see John Moxley become that champion. A lot of people are like, oh, but this and that. Supposedly, the rumor is Chris Jericho's supposed to be going on tour. So it was kind of, showing that, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not gonna, it's maybe Jericho wasn't going to lose that belt. But, that paradigm shift to finishing it in the end, it was just an amazing match. Um, he did lose that eye patch, so I guess we're done with the eye patch with John Moxley, which is awesome. He sold that as much as he could, and him being the champion now, he don't need that eye patch anymore. That story's done. Maybe they'll go back to it eventually, but for now, I think it's done. I mean, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. And at the end, John Moxley cut a promo saying, thanking all the fans, saying that that championship belt is for the fans, not for him. That without the fans, he wouldn't be where he is, and he wouldn't have been the champion. He wouldn't have beaten Jericho. And what an amazing way to cut that kind of promo, that you're putting the fans over, saying that you love the fans, and without the fans you wouldn't be where you are. That's exactly what I would do if I ever step in the ring and want to be a huge baby face. Is always thank the fans no matter what. So that pretty much wraps it up for this. I'm gonna go through some quick news, and we'll finish this episode up. So AEW announced this week that they will be releasing action figures sometime in August, and that's pretty awesome. They showed a preview of them, of the Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, the Cody, a bunch of others as well. They're coming out with the Toy Championship belt of the AEW World Champion, which is pretty awesome. I'm gonna get for my son, even though my son's right now only 2 months old. I'm gonna get him that, so when he's at that age, he already has this belt. That's gonna be awesome. And then supposedly, what I was reading, I mean, this week, I don't know if it's still 100%, but according to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, the whole thing was that the SmackDown side of WrestleMania 36 is in complete chaos. Every match had the ability to change or was going to change. Maybe, I guess I could have scratched that out, because I think maybe now they have it under control with the two big SmackDown matches. But I mean, we'll see, because they still got to figure out what they're gonna do with Bailey, and I honestly don't know where her story is gonna go. Another thing is NXT Japan is to be announced sometime around the summer. And then for this coming up Monday, we are having, honestly, I think we're going to have a really good Raw, just match wise, with Aleister Black versus AJ Styles confirmed. And then we're going to have Rey Mysterio, Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo versus Andrade and Angel Garza for Monday Night Raw. And I think Oh yeah, and then I'm looking at it right now. We're gonna have Shayna Baszler versus Asuka, and then we're gonna have Seth Rollins and Murphy versus the Street Profits in what is it? In a now or never match. That if the Street Profits don't win, they can no longer challenge for those tag team titles. So maybe we might see a change on Raw. So we'll see, and also that Riddick Moss will be putting his 24/7 championship on the line. So, and then also we are going to be having the return of Beth Phoenix, which is going to be pretty crazy because it is going to be in New York. And I heard Bully Ray, aka Bubba Ray in WWE, teased on Busted Open Radio about possibly being at Monday Night Raw this coming week, which is tomorrow, to confront and talk to Randy Orton. So maybe we'll see where that goes. Also about those AEW toys. I saw that they're going to be carried in Walmart, so that's going to be pretty big for them. Basically, going to be right next to WWE competing. That's going to be awesome. Samoa Joe was suspended for violating the wellness policy for 30 days. He will be back in time for WrestleMania, but maybe this might affect his WrestleMania booking. He might not even get booked at all. Hopefully not, because Samoa Joe is a great athlete and he can always put on a really banger of a match. So we'll see. And then Rusev was supposed to be in that gauntlet match at Super Showdown, but he got pulled due to a back injury, according to Ryan Satin. And then Lance Archer has signed to AEW. He's supposed to debut this week, this Wednesday. So that's gonna be pretty exciting to see what they're gonna do with him. And then Brody Lee is set to debut March 18th for AEW, which is going to be pretty exciting. Supposedly, that's the rumor that's going around. And Matt Hardy might be on his way to AEW. I think I saw something today that tomorrow he might announce what he's going to be doing. I honestly hope he goes to AEW and is the exalted one for the Dark Order. And then New Japan also canceled 11 shows for the month of March due to the coronavirus out there in Japan, which sucks, but hopefully everybody can stay safe. And then a rumor possible match for WrestleMania is Trish Stratus versus Sasha Banks. There was some picture that was shown on Trish's social media on her Twitter, I think, some kind of slideshow, and in the end was a picture of her and Banks at the Royal Rumble in I think 2018. So I mean, we might get that match, even though Trish is retired, but a wrestler is really never retired. And then let me see. So basically, before the show, Cody had an interview and was saying that maybe Revolution could become AEW's version of WrestleMania, which is pretty crazy. It was a really good show. I think maybe if they would have moved around that women's match a bit, maybe yeah, I could see it. I mean, but who knows, right? I think every show they should treat it like a WrestleMania show. They got Double or Nothing coming up in May, and then they do yeah, their pay-per-views, they're four, right? It's Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear. I don't know if Full Gear will stay with that name, but those are their four pay-per-views that they're going to be doing every year. And then I saw on March 25th, which is crazy, March 25th is during the week of it's just during the normal week. AEW will have AEW Blood and Guts. I think it's gonna be on TNT, and it's basically their own version of War Games. Now some people are like, "Oh, they're copying WWE, doing their own version of War Games." Dusty invented it, so come on, guys. And basically you can say, "Well, WWE copied WCW," but they don't want to say that, right? So that's gonna be pretty exciting, and then um, I'm pretty excited for March 11th. AEW will be coming to us here in Salt Lake City at the Maverick Center. So any of you guys that are listening to this in Utah and you guys haven't gotten your tickets, go get your tickets. I am gonna be going tomorrow, hopefully already to buying my tickets. We're gonna be there. I'm gonna be there with my wife, my daughter, my son, and some more family. That's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, let me look real quick onto the wrestling news. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, other wrestling news is Rush, Rush won back the Ring of Honor championship from PCO, and I forgot the other dude's name. It was in a triple threat at Ring of Honor at the Ring of Honor event that they did on Saturday. So I guess PCO's reign is done, but it was still pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome that they were able to do that. And then oh yeah, Dustin Rhodes at the end of the show revealed that he is going to be making his way into the AEW tag division with QT Marshall. And I don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but there's a possibility that their manager will be Brandy Rhodes. I mean, either way, it's pretty cool. I think eventually she'll be out there with Cody for the big matches like she has been ever since the Nightmare Collective ended. But that's pretty cool, to be with Dustin and QT, and they're gonna do everything they can to get QT completely over. So that's gonna be awesome. And let me see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Going through. Let me check. Okay, yeah. Sorry guys, it's cuz I'm doing this here on Sunday night. Been a crazy week of wrestling, trying to go through everything. We're coming up here just on the last couple minutes. Let me just refresh my Twitter. Yeah, the Colt Cabana thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, I don't honestly see anything else that's really in any kind of interest. I think the biggest thing that I guess we'll hear about tomorrow is going to be that Matt Hardy, the whole Free the Delete, the series finale of the Free the Delete starts this week. It's supposed to release at midnight tonight. So I'll watch that in the morning, and I'll let you guys know next week on the next episode to see where that's going to be going. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want you guys to hit that that like button, hit that subscribe button one more time. Comment down, let me know what you guys are thinking. Any questions, anything you guys want me to cover in next week's episode. I would love to read that and deep dive into whatever it is you guys want to hear me talk about. And also in the description down below, I do have my Twitter and Instagram information. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, thank you guys for listening to this on a Sunday night or on a Monday morning, whenever it is you are listening to it. I think last time I saw, I have 30 views, 15 on each video, and I appreciate every view that I get. Thank you guys. I wouldn't be able to do this without the goal of wanting to be one of the best that I can be, that I can get fans, and fans can support me and be behind me, like I said, to one day make turn this into a way of living, because I love pro wrestling, I love everything about it, you know, and it's an awesome thing to be a part of, to be a fan of, and I couldn't ask for anything better to be a fan of than this. So this is me signing off. Until next week, you guys stay safe out there, and yeah, just keep enjoying and watching wrestling as much as you can, like I do. So peace. See y'all next week.